On this week's edition of the Overtime, we will look into how the NAU athletics directors have managed events during the pandemic. Then we will look into the cross-country team and their rise in the championship. And then look into NAU men's basketball team and the expectations heading into their season. All that and more on this edition of the Overtime. Welcome back to the Overtime. My name is Nikki Salin and I will be your host for tonight. Joining me tonight is Lindsay Ridgway. Lindsay, are you ready to dive into this week's content?
Thanks, Nikki. I sure am. Let's get into it.
Okay, so starting off, NAU Athletic Director Cody Besher and Stacey Isobe did what they could to make sure sports could keep going during the pandemic. But it was not always easy and came with numerous challenges. Sports reporter Frank Espinosa spoke with the ADs to see how they tried to keep a positive environment in NAU athletics.
After a year of the pandemic-related shutdowns and delays, NAU Athletics is getting back to the in-person way of doing business. Associate Athletic Director Stacey Isobe was promoted to this position at the start of 2020. Since the pandemic, he has been working tirelessly to get the athletic events back into gear.
Coordinating interviews, I think, was probably the biggest area where we had to adapt because media wasn't allowed to come out to practice. We had no fans at games, so media also wasn't permitted to come into games, at least to start. So all of our press conferences were done through Zoom. All of our media availability with our athletes and our student coaches was done through Zoom.
Last semester, Isobe had to think of creative ideas to recreate the feeling of having an audience. But nothing could replace the hundreds of fans in the empty seats.
You know, what we did was just like everybody else did. We put out cardboard cutouts and we piped in fan noise into the PA system, and that there's just no replicating what 10,000 people in the Sky Dome can bring.
Assistant Athletic Director Cody Besher is also working hard to bring NAU sports back to the students. Besher had to adapt and create new ways to keep fans updated and aware with fresh content.
I think more importantly, we didn't have practices on campus, so a lot of content sometimes comes out of practices, photos, video, everything like that. And so trying to find creative ways to keep people engaged was, I think, the biggest challenge.
Now that vaccines have made it safer for people to go back to normal, Besher says he's excited to let fans back into the arenas.
I think it's been really refreshing to let people kind of get back to normal as much as we possibly can right now, and get back to a point of just feeling like it's all more like it used to be, I guess.
So next we're diving into the NAU cross-country team and their recent wins at the Big Sky Championship. Overall, the Lumberjack cross-country runners have had a great season so far, and they seem to stay in their momentum during their last event. Lindsay, what can you tell us about how the Jacks fared at this tournament?
For the 16th time in conference history, NAU Cross Country swept the Big Sky Championship this past weekend in Oregon. Despite the wet and muddy conditions, the women brought home their 22nd historical team title, while the men had their 30th. For the women, after placing first for the third year in a row and 3 women in the top 7, including All-American Taryn O'Neill, who also brought home an individual title, they racked up 37 total points. For the men, there were 4 NAU runners to place in the top 8. They were able to bring in a total of 30 points to regain the title, with Drew Bosley bringing home his second career individual title, as well as Tristan Merkant, who came in at 15th and earned himself Big Sky Men's Freshman of the Year. The Lumberjacks are set to compete at the Mountain Regions meet on November 12th. We wish the Lumberjacks the best of luck.
Yeah, Lindsay, thank you for that. And lastly, for NAU sports, we have our men's basketball team and look forward into their upcoming season. Lindsay, as you have been out to their latest scrimmage, can you tell us how the team has been looking lately?
Yeah, Nikki, like you said, I have seen the team in action a couple of times so far, and I think things are hopeful for them. Since losing Cameron Shelton and Luke Avidovolci, 2 of their previous best shooters, to transfers, all eyes have been on them to see how they will fill in those holes. And I think things are starting to look up for them, as it seems they have begun to. With 5th-year Nick Maines being granted an extra year of eligibility, he has began to step into a new leadership role and is supported by Virginia Tech transfer Jalen Cohn, who is named one of the top impact newcomers by ESPN.com. The team is looking solid as they head into their first non-conference game against the University of Arizona this upcoming Tuesday. We wish them the best of luck on the start of their season.
And coming up after the break, an exclusive preview into the NASCAR races this weekend by our own sports reporters Cameron Richardson, Michael Manny, and Brendan Martin. Stay tuned.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
I just found out my work party is a +1. You want to go?
This is my boss, Ella. Nice to meet you, Greg.
You're welcome. Nope, I'm high. But I'll clean the kitchen while you're gone.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive?
I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Welcome back to the Overtime. My name is Cameron Richardson. Joining me to preview NASCAR Championship Weekend down at Phoenix Raceway, Brendan Martin and Michael Manny. Gentlemen, we got a huge weekend. We're going to be down Thursday for Media Day. Friday, we've got the Camping World Truck Series. Saturday, the Xfinity Series, and the big race, obviously, on Sunday in the NASCAR Cup Series. Make sure to follow us all weekend long on social media. We're going to be taking over the NAU MIC Sports account. But all in all, we've got the big race on Sunday. We've got Chase Elliott, the defending champion, who won at Phoenix last year. We've got Martin Truex Jr., who's won 4 races this year and won in the spring at Phoenix. We've got Denny Hamlin, who's got a little bit of controversy going into the week. And then we've got 9-time winner and title favorite Kyle Larson. Michael, I'll start with you. Who do you think is going to win on Sunday?
Well, Cam, like you said, it's been quite the week for Denny Hamlin after last week's finish in Martinsville at the short track, where he was spun out by Alex Bowman with just under 7 laps to go. After the race, he ran himself into Bowman's car and had a bit of a fiery interview with NBC Sports. But the thing about Denny Hamlin in Phoenix is that this is one of his better racetracks. He has the second highest average finish in active Cup Series drivers, along with Kevin Harvick, who's won it 9 times. But under that, it's just Denny Hamlin. So if anything, in his 16th season in Phoenix, this might finally be time for the 40-year-old to get it done, finally win his first championship.
Now, Brendan, I said Kyle Larson won 9 races this year. Doesn't really have that Phoenix track record to really lock him in for a championship, but I mean, who do you think is going to steal it from him if he's not the one to get it done, or will he get it done?
Right, so we know that Kyle Larson's particularly good at those intermediate tracks, those 1.5 mile tracks. That's where he's specifically excelled in. But to me, I think you've kind of brought it up. Chase Elliott, the defending champion of the Cup Series last year, he got it done in Phoenix, where he started from the back due to a failed inspection, where he had to start from the very back and make his way up all the way to the top. Now, in championship weekend, the point system in NASCAR doesn't matter. It's all about who finishes for the best between these 4 drivers. And to me, Kyle Larson's been the most consistent, but it is Phoenix, where anything can happen. And to me, Chase Elliott would be that sort of dark horse racer to be able to get that done.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Martin Truex Jr. will be the champion, dominated in the spring. I just don't see anyone denying him. So just make sure to follow us throughout the weekend. We're going to be taking over a bunch of social media accounts, and we'll be back next week to talk about everything that happened at Phoenix.
Up next, Kristen Chancellor will have the latest on what's to come for this weekend. Stay tuned to be updated on all sports events in the Coconino Country. See you after the break.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why?
I'm high.
Oh.
Really?
Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to the Overtime. I'm Kristen Chancellor, and here's what's going on this weekend in Northern Arizona sports. Starting off, the NAU swim and dive team will look to take on New Mexico Saturday at 10:30 in the Wall Aquatic Center. The women's swim and dive team sits 2-0 this season, beating Arizona Christian and Ottawa earlier this season. With a packed roster and determination, this team has had a great impact for the team, beating opponents with large margins. The swim and dive hopes to bring home another win on Sunday. Next, we have the NAU football team taking on the 7th seed in the country, UC Davis, Saturday, November 6th at 1 p.m. for the Lumberjacks Native American Heritage Game. The Lumberjacks are coming off a win against the Idaho Vandals 38-31 last weekend. The Lumberjacks had some errors and easy mistakes in that game and are trying to fix them coming into this next game. With top players such as Coleman Owen, Morgan Vest, and RJ Martinez, this roster has some great components to win games. Utilizing all the talents on the team will enhance this team even further. NAU will look to take on UC Davis in the Skydome on Saturday. Finally, the NAU women's volleyball team will host Sacramento State for their senior day. The NAU women's volleyball team has struggled this season with consistency, but were able to clinch their way into playoffs. Coming off a win and loss this past weekend, the Lumberjacks will need to win out this weekend to remain in good position for the spot in playoffs. The Lumberjacks will take on Sacramento State Saturday at 6 p.m. in the Roll Activity Center. Well, that's all we got this weekend, so make sure to get out and support your local sports. Back to you, Nikki, at the desk.
Thank you so much for that, Christian. Well, that's all we have for sports this weekend. Thank you to sports reporter Lindsay Ridgway and Kristen Chancellor for joining me here today for this week's edition of The Overtime. I hope you will follow us on social media, and hopefully we will see you again for next week's edition of The Overtime. Have a great weekend.